The anticipation inside the arena felt like a living creature, crawling through every seat, every shadow, every heartbeat, as Vasyl Lomachenko and Gary Russell Jr. prepared to lock horns in a fight that crackled with the electricity of two worlds colliding. Precision versus pure speed. Lomachenko, the Ukrainian technician with footwork so clean it seemed choreographed by the gods, stepped forward with chilling calmness. His eyes locked into a stare that sliced straight through the crowd. Across from him, Gary Russell Jr. bounced lightly on his toes, hands twitching with explosive energy, the kind that could change the entire direction of a fight in a single second. The air tightened as the bell rang, and suddenly the ring burst into motion. Russell leaped forward like lightning snapping across the sky, unleashing combinations faster than the eye could track, each punch thrown with the intention to rattle the unshaken mask of his opponent. But Lomachenko, with his eerie sixth sense for rhythm and timing, slipped through the barrage with movements so subtle and fluid they felt supernatural. He pivoted, shifted, drifted around Russell's aggression like smoke escaping from grasping fingers. Yet the danger was real. Russell's speed was unlike anything Lomachenko had faced in the pros. Every exchange carried a pulse of suspense. Every miss, every slip, every counter felt like the small spark before a violent explosion. The audience leaned forward as the round intensified, neither man willing to blink, neither man willing to yield an inch. Lomachenko's jab snapped like a whip, testing Russell's reactions, while Russell's blitzes came in sudden waves, threatening to overwhelm the Ukrainian's rhythm. You could feel the tension growing with every passing second, a tightening coil that promised something unforgettable. The round closed with both men locked in a quiet war, one trying to outthink, one trying to outspeed, and as they returned to their corners, it was clear this was not going to be a normal fight. This was going to be a storm. When the second round began, the suspense didn't fade. It intensified. Russell surged forward again, his punches flashing like sparks thrown from grinding metal. Every combination aimed at upsetting Lomachenko's balance and breaking his rhythm. But Lomachenko began responding with a growing sharpness, adjusting like a machine learning in real time. His footwork became even more mesmerizing, cutting angles that made Russell punch at empty air, leaving the American momentarily off balance, and Lomachenko exploited every inch of it. The Ukrainian darted inside with surgical precision, landing short, cutting shots that didn't just score. They whispered a promise that momentum was beginning to tilt. Russell felt it. The crowd felt it. Every miss for Russell carried weight. Every connection from Lomachenko carried danger. The tension swirled with each step they took. Russell's speed, his greatest weapon, began to feel like a double-edged sword as Lomachenko started reading him like an open book. Still, Russell refused to back down. He doubled his output, forcing exchanges, trying to drag the fight into chaos where his reflexes shined brightest. The ring echoed with the thud of leather on guard, the stomp of footwork, the roar of fans rising to their feet as both fighters pushed the pace to a level where anything could happen at any second. Lomachenko slipped a storm of punches, then countered with a left that snapped Russell's head back, sending a shockwave through the arena. But Russell responded with a furious flurry that backed Lomachenko toward the ropes for the first time. The suspense tore through the audience as the seconds ticked down, both fighters striking, slipping, cutting angles, refusing to give the other a moment to breathe. And as the horn sounded, it was clear this was evolving into a masterpiece of speed, IQ, and fire. Something monumental was coming. By the middle rounds, the fight had transformed into a breathtaking chess match, layered over the intensity of a street fight. Lomachenko's adjustments were becoming frighteningly precise. He wasn't just reacting to Russell, he was anticipating him, predicting patterns, stepping into angles that shouldn't have existed. Suddenly, Lomachenko's punches seemed to land from directions Russell couldn't see, sharp hooks slicing past his guard with machine-like timing. Yet Russell's heart burned bright. Whenever Lomachenko found success, Russell roared back with explosive counters, using his unmatched hand speed to keep the Ukrainian from settling into full dominance. The suspense thickened with every second, because both fighters were biting down, pushing the pace, refusing to concede. Russell's corner screamed for more urgency. Lomachenko's corner remained calm, almost too calm, as if they knew something that the audience hadn't yet realized. Then came the shift, the moment everything felt like it was changing. Lomachenko hammered Russell with a three-punch combination that landed flush, each shot clean, each shot heavy. Russell stumbled for a fraction of a heartbeat, a tiny moment, but one that changed the entire tone of the fight. Lomachenko pounced, angling around Russell like a ghost, tapping him with punches that weren't just scoring, they were draining him. The suspense became suffocating. Russell fought valiantly, firing back with desperation, but Lomachenko's rhythm had grown monstrous, almost unstoppable. Every pivot repositioned him. Every angle created danger. The crowd could feel the tide turning, shifting slowly, inevitably, like a massive wave preparing to crash. And as the round ended, you could see it in the fighter's eyes. One man rising, one man fighting to survive. The later rounds unfolded like a crescendo of controlled chaos. Lomachenko was now moving with the confidence of a man who had solved the puzzle, who had unlocked the rhythm, who knew precisely where he needed to be at every second. His footwork was painting artwork across the canvas, his gloves delivering punctuation marks to a masterpiece that was nearing its final strokes. Russell kept fighting with a warrior's heart, refusing to crumble, refusing to let the narrative become one-sided. His speed still flashed in bursts, dangerous, unpredictable, capable of turning the fight if he found the perfect shot. And that possibility kept the suspense razor-sharp. Every exchange mattered. Every miss carried the risk of a counter. Every second carried weight. Lomachenko intensified his attack, landing combinations that snapped Russell's head back and forced the American into survival mode. The crowd stood, sensing the climax. Lomachenko circled, stepped in, angled out, firing sharp hooks and uppercuts that landed with frightening accuracy. Russell absorbed them with determination, firing back through exhaustion, through pain, through grit. But Lomachenko was no longer just outboxing him. He was outthinking him, out-timing him, dismantling Russell's strengths piece by piece. And then came the closing moments. Lomachenko landing a crushing sequence that left Russell off balance once more, the arena exploding as momentum peaked. Russell held on, fighting with every ounce of pride he had left, but the conclusion had written itself long before the final bell. The bout ended with both men exhausted, battered, and forever changed. And as the decision was announced, Lomachenko victorious, the arena erupted, recognizing not just a win, but the birth of a legend forged in a night of pure suspense, skill, and heart.